Dr. Jen Ashton now with us. A timely health question, right, as we're prepping for the Oscars,
Okay.
Hollywood's biggest night. What are your best tips to relieve foot pain after a night of wearing high heels?
I mean, my feet are already killing me. Listen, I've spoken to my colleagues in orthopedic surgery and podiatry. Heels, stiletto heels, platform heels, whatever kind of heels, really not good for our feet.
Yes.
And so, yes, after a couple of hours, that pain is unlike no other. So we go by an acronym, which is really the case in all of sports medicine. So it works well even on feet at dogs barking. RICE, rest, ice, compression, elevation. It really does help. And you know what? After my wedding, my feet were killing me. It took me days to get rid of the pain, actually. But you can go for an over-the-counter acetaminophen, ibuprofen. Usually, bringing a change of shoes is something that a lot of, wardrobe stylists will recommend. Do men ever get sore feet?
Actually, I do, but I hate to complain about it because it's not the same. But for me, I'm like, these aren't the most comfortable shoes either. But I just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, that's true. So even men who get, some sore feet from wearing those shoes can do the same thing.
Okay, excellent. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. We got it. All right, and Dr. Jen, your prescription for wellness
Okay,
today.
so from the world of nutrition and food, a lot of people having Oscar parties, and maybe some of the people actually going to be walking up these stairs will be eating after the award ceremony. So how you cannot derail your diet, just some mindful eating tips as we go through all of these parties. Number one, sticking to smaller portions. That's actually easy to do, especially if you've just won an award, because you probably don't have time to fill your mouth with a lot of food.
Grab an hors d'oeuvre and move on.
Correct. Eat slowly and enjoy your food. Chew it well. Don't talk and eat at the same time. That can actually be dangerous. And then drinking lots of water, of course, is good so that you don't, overindulge in any alcohol.
And there's no food allowed on the champagne carpet this year.
There you go.
So you're going to have to leave the bowl of spaghetti and meatballs at home for a different time. Of course, you can submit your health and wellness questions to us right here on @GMA3.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.